From cracking the code to beat Elon under the guidance of Izzy and the Great, to his competition revealing a secret technique that'll help him win the bout, here's how Mark Zuckerberg's been training with Alex Volkanovski and Israel Adesanya. With every passing day, the much-anticipated bout between the Metaman and Twitter honcho becomes more of a reality. And get this, Zuck's doing everything he can in hopes of bulking up for this upcoming fight. According to recent photographs, the founder of Meta has been keeping himself busy with intense training sessions. Mark was pictured with Volk and Izzy, the baddest fighters on the UFC roster. The trio was pictured in a gym in Lake Tahoe, Nevada. The photo was later shared on social media with the caption, "No fugazi with Mark, this is serious business." Mark replied to the post in the comments section, writing that it had been an honor for him to train with the champs. Looking at the company Zuckerberg's been keeping before the fight, it's safe to say that his chances of winning have increased by a ton. On top of this, Mark has picked some really good fighters as his trainers. Volkanovski is the current UFC featherweight champ. And as for Adesanya, he's the current two-time middleweight champ. For a while there, everyone thought this potential fight was a publicity stunt to generate hype for Mark's Twitter rival Threads. But turns out they were super serious. And if anyone's looking for a refresher, then I've got you covered. If I'm being honest, the fight feels like a real enemies to lovers trope coming to life. And while Threads might have escalated the whole thing, the beef was already there for quite some time. It first started back in 2016 when a botched SpaceX mission destroyed some really expensive satellites owned by Facebook. The Metaman was extremely unhappy with the whole thing and even released a statement about the incident, saying he was deeply disappointed. But as you'd expect, Musk didn't apologize, and instead, he held a grudge that came out at the time of Cambridge Analytica, where he ended up making a big deal of deleting his Facebook page. And to make matters worse, he tweeted that Musk's company was giving him the willies. Apart from this, the two have really locked horns regarding their take on AI regulations. But then things got way worse when Threads entered the chat. Meta revealed that they were hoping to create a platform that was more sanely run, taking an obvious dig at Musk's unconventional decisions after he took control of Twitter. This got the boss to chime in, who said, "I'm sure Earth can't wait to be exclusively under Zuck's thumb with no other options, at least it will be Zayn." After this, one thing led to another, and the two CEOs agreed to a cage fight. Now, looking at everything that's been going down, Mark's really been putting in a lot of effort. On top of this, he's also trained in jiu-jitsu. But considering that Musk already has a considerable size advantage over the Meta boss, besides this, Elon also knows a little bit about martial arts. In an interview back in 2022, the Twitter CEO revealed that he'd received training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Kyokushin Karate, Taekwondo, and Judo. Considering all of this, it makes sense that Zuck's going all out when it comes to his training sessions. And get this, we're starting to see the effects of his training too. Zuck was recently filmed water skiing, and man did he look ripped. I think this might have been a part of his training too, because Mark was hanging around with the UFC champs even there. The stars posted a video of themselves hanging out on a boat and enjoying the beautiful scenery. And as for Mark, they zoomed in on him to show that he was skiing off their boat, looking hella focused. With the amount of effort the billionaire's putting in, it's really hard not to root for him. But what about Musk? The UFC megastar George St. Pierre offered to be the Twitter honcho's training partner, and we'll be talking about their sessions in a little while. The billionaire even revealed that he had a training session with Lex Fridman, the famous podcast host and jiu-jitsu black belt holder. But that was after Lex revealed he had an intense training session with Mark. And if it continues going on like this, Musk might even end up losing the bout. Coming back to Zuck and his training, from the looks of it, he and Adesanya are getting along really well. The UFC champ's been keeping everyone updated regarding the upcoming bout, dropping pictures of his training sessions with Mark here and there. Both of them have been working really hard focusing on jiu-jitsu and kickboxing at Israel's gym, and I'd say they're getting along really well. Apparently, it's because they've got something in common. The fighter captioned one of his posts, "We both have South Africans to deal with." And by this, he obviously meant Mark's future opponent Musk, who's of South African origins. And get this, it was also a thinly veiled dig at Israel's next opponent, the South African athlete Dricus du Plessis. Plus, did you know that Zuck had other potential training partners too? John Jones famously offered his services to Zuckerberg as soon as the news about this fight hit the stands. But I'm guessing Zuck found a better match in Izzy and Alex, cause he didn't really take up the champ on this offer. But hey, whatever works for him. Coming to Musk, he's also bent on elevating his MMA game. Seems like Elon found a buddy and a trainer in GSP, cause the two of them have been having loads of fun. George posted a photo of him and the Twitter boss hanging out at a training session, and judging from their smiles, it's safe to assume that things are going very well. Still, I'll go ahead and say that Musk is in safe hands, since GSP is a former middleweight and welterweight champ. And get this, George was also asked to give some feedback on his recent training sessions with Musk, and the camp's super happy with the way things are turning out. He said, "Musk is stronger than the average man and he's very tough. And while this is really good to hear, we're yet to see how the training sessions have affected the billionaire's physique. But if Musk is being a good student and listening to what his trainer tells him, then Zuck really has something to worry about. Still, knowing UFC and their knack for bailing on promises, you'd probably be worrying that this fight won't see the light of day. But I've got some good news for you. Uncle Dana's ready to do whatever it takes to make this fight become a reality, and you should know that he's ready to cross all heights. After all, it's the same guy who turned the Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Conor McGregor bout into a reality. Nothing is impossible for him. Dana was also seen wearing a shirt that said, Zuckerberg versus Musk. So clearly, the man isn't gonna rest till he's got Musk and Zuck in a cage fighting each other. In fact, he's already talked to both parties, and everything's sorted out between them, cause Dana revealed that the two of them were deadly serious about a fight. Musk suggested the Vegas Octagon as a possible venue, but the UFC boss swapped it with the Roman Coliseum instead. A bit too ambitious, but it's Dana White we're talking about, and nothing comes between him and his money. Coming to Elon's secret weapon against his opponent. Remember the size advantage I mentioned earlier? Turns out Musk will be using that to his advantage. He revealed that he might be going with a little technique that he likes to call the walrus. And yes, it's just as complicated as it sounds. Listen closely while I explain it to you, and I suggest you take some notes too. Through this technique, Musk will lay on top of his opponent and just simply lay there till Zuck gives up. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a definite win for him now. The Twitter boss also added that he never really worked out, and the only exercise he got nowadays was when he picked his kids up and threw them up in the air. Okay. Considering the sort of guy Musk is, chances are he's training on the down low to take Zuck by surprise when he finally faces him in a cage. Of course, there's always the possibility that he's telling the truth. And if that's the case, I'm willing to bet Zuck will be done with him in less than 2 minutes. So there you have it. From his competition revealing a secret technique that'll help him win the bout, to cracking the code to beat Elon under the guidance of Izzy and the Great. That's how Mark Zuckerberg's been training with Alex Volkanovski and Israel Adesanya.